Alright guys, quick one today. We're going over the 5 biggest mistakes I see in the upper body portion of the disc golf backhand. I'm going to be going over what they are, how you can figure out if you have them in your swing, and one quick tip to fix each one. I will be coming out with individual videos on each one of these in the next couple weeks, so please subscribe if you want to see more. A tense wrist, okay? A lot of people start their wrist in this position, and when they reach back, their wrist stays in this position. Or they do the exact opposite. They start it in this position, and when they reach back, they fully extend their wrist like this. Okay? We want to keep our wrist nice and loose, okay? And let it do what it wants to do as we swing. When we cause a bunch of forces backward, our wrist is going to naturally open up. I like to open mine up around neutral, but you can just let it be natural. Open up to where it wants to. If we keep our wrist loose, right, as we pull back in, if our elbow's on the correct plane, our wrist is going to naturally coil into the pocket. And then exactly the same thing as we release, our wrist is going to naturally be the last thing to uncoil, right? Giving a bunch of spin to the disc and popping it out at the end. So what can you look for in your swing? Look at your wrist. Are you doing this extended reach back, right? Or are you reaching back and keeping your wrist completely bent? We want your wrist in the swing to look completely natural. Boom, from curled to flat to curled to flat. The 4th most common issue I see, shoulder shrugging, okay? So when we swing, right, our body sometimes naturally likes to raise our shoulder up to keep our elbow up. Right? We're not really able to pin as well when our shoulder is shrugged up. But we don't want that, right? This is an elevated shoulder. We want a depressed shoulder. It's much safer on our shoulder joint to have our shoulder depressed and neutral than it is to have it shrugged. So what to look for in your throw? Obviously, if your shoulder is coming up, especially above your chin line, right? So boom, if in my throw I ever see myself like this, right, I have a shoulder shrugging issue. I need to focus on detaching the shrugging motion from the throwing motion, okay? One way I can do that is just really focus on keeping my elbow out, but my shoulder down and protracted in my throw, okay? Boom. We want our shoulders to remain neutral, both in external and internal rotation if possible, but also in this plane. We want to keep it depressed where it's nice and safe so we can send a bunch of forces through it into the disc. The 3rd most common issue I see in the backhand is elbow drop, okay? Our elbow orientation matters here, but it also matters here, right? Call this opening the gate, right? We're allowing the power to pass through our elbow without being resisted by our muscles. That's what this hinging joint is for, right? So if we drop our elbow at the end of our throw, we end up having to externally rotate the disc out, okay? A lot of people confuse this with supination at the hit. Okay, supination at the hit is turning our arm this way, but elbow drop or elbow pinning, right, is pinning our elbow to our side, which then now we can't actually open the gate of our elbow. We're forced to externally rotate the disc out and send all the power we've just developed through a bunch of muscles and rotational stuff, okay? So what to look for in your throw? Obviously, look at your elbow. In the end of your throw, if your elbow starts dipping down, right, and you externally rotate or have a swoop at the end of your throw, right? That's probably because you're dropping your elbow or pinning it to your side. Our body does this to protect it, to protect itself. Basically, as it sees forces, right, that it knows are a lot on our elbow and a lot on our shoulder, it's much safer to be depressed in the shoulder and to pin the elbow to the side and reduce the lever length of our arm. It's gonna put a lot less stress on our elbow and our tendons, okay? How you can fix this? You need to slow down. You need to relax in your throw. One of the worst things you can do is try to pull because it's going to engage all of these muscles that brace your arm to your body. So we want to relax, right? And let the disc kind of, boom, come right out on the plane that we put it on without trying to resist it with any of our muscles. Relax in your throw, right? And just focus on keeping your elbow up, almost like a waiter with a towel, okay? The 2nd most common issue I see in the disc golf backhand is lower back extension, okay? That's arching our lower back, turning our abs off, okay? What this does is, one, it causes our body to want to retract our shoulder blades and push our chest out. So we have less room in the pocket. And two, it kind of turns off our abs, so we can't use the rotational ability of our abs to add power to the swing, okay? So what to look for in your swing if you have this? Obviously, look at your lower back angle. If you come into the pocket and then stand up, right? I call this the duck butt, right? If you stand up and your chest comes out and you come out of the pocket like this, you're extending your lower back, okay? We want to keep the lower back at least neutral, right? Keep our abs on, okay? So a quick tip to help with this is, one, stretch your lower back before you throw. Stretch your lower back, do some ab activation work, and try to make sure you're keeping a neutral spine when you throw. So you can stay a little bit leaned over, have the space you need to throw, and end up in a much more powerful position. The number one issue I see in beginner, amateur, people who throw under 400 feet with the backhand swings is elbow orientation, okay? So specifically in the first half of the swing. So from reach back to the pocket, okay? The issue is, right, as we reach back, our body naturally kind of wants us to turn our elbow down, and that removes our elbow from the swing plane, okay? We want our elbow to stay on the swing plane, basically the whole swing, so we don't ever have to pull out and come back to a good elbow orientation. So what to look for in your swing to see if you have this is, look at yourself at reach back. Is the stamp of the disc facing the camera? Or is your elbow pointed at the ground? Or are you reaching out so far that your wrist is extended? These are all positions that cause my elbow orientation to point downward. Now, as I pull in, you'll see this dreaded position, right? Right angle with my arm, elbow pointed at the ground, back of the disc pointed up toward the sky. If you have this position in your swing, it's because you have bad elbow orientation. So one quick tip to fix this is, just don't reach back as far, right? Your body's only capable of reaching back so far before it has to externally rotate your shoulder and cause your elbow to point down. So when you reach back, try to only reach back as far as your body can stand while keeping your elbow in the correct orientation. That will allow you a smooth pull through all the way through release on the same swing plane. All right, now the normies who only watch half the video are gone, I want to talk to you guys. If you're not subbed, please sub. And in the comments, let me know which one of these my next video should be on. Thanks, peace.